Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly watch list where we go and look at all the news, earnings, setups, as well as the narrative buys for the market this week. Overall, looking over at Monday morning as well as the rest of the week for setups on all equities within the tech sector. So, starting off as always with the earnings report, we're going to be looking at here. There's not a whole lot. DLTR is going to be this week. Could be one if you guys swung that from last week. Something I was looking at. It's not too bad, but spreads were horrible, so ended up passing on that. No volume on the contracts. Broadcom, another one to be aware of. Broadcom could be something that would be interesting to look at this week. But, overall, nothing really relevant to what we do, in scalping on the tech sector. CRWD could be something, and also DG. But, again, really, nothing really significant other than maybe, really there's nothing significant here. CRWD would be about it. So going into the news this week, however, we do have some pretty significant news going this. Again, off right here tonight alone, Sunday. We did have orange folder FOMC member Waller speaks, at 8 o'clock tonight. But going into this week, we do have a lot of red and yellow folder news. So starting off Monday morning, first thing, 9:45 USD, we have final manufacturing PMI. 10 a.m. we have ISM manufacturing PMI and prices as well, along with construction spending MM. 10:15 a.m. we have FOMC member Logan speaks, and then 12:45 we have FOMC member Goldsby speaks if you're still here intraday trading on the markets. Tuesday, we do have JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m. and factory orders MM. 12:45 p.m. we got FOMC member Goldsby speaks and Logan speaks at 3:30 p.m. Wednesday, red folder, ADP, non-farm employment machines. That's going to be at 8:15 a.m. 8:30 a.m. we have FOMC member Bostic speaks and Cook speaks. 9:45 a.m. 15 into open, final services PMI. And 10 a.m. red folder news, ISM services PMI. 10:30 a.m. yellow folder crude oil inventories. Thursday, we do have quite a bit of news as well, just as Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. We have Challenger job cuts. Going to be important to remember that 7:30 to 8:30, although these news are pre-market, they are still going to be just as relevant, okay? So 8:30 a.m. USD red folder, unemployment claims, going to be important. Unemployment coming out that day. We have revised non-farm productivity QQ and revised unit labor cost and then trade balance also. Again, these are just yellow folder, nothing too significant, but something to also always be aware of, right? Especially if you're in a trade or looking to take a position. This is pre-market, though, so we don't have to worry about that. 10:30 a.m., however, natural gas shortage. 12 p.m., we have FOMC member Kugler, and 1:30 Parker speaks. Okay, Friday, big red news day. So we got big red folder, red news day, rather. Average hourly earnings MM, non-pharma employment change, and unemployment rate, red folder news, okay? And then 3 p.m., consumer credit, not really relevant, right? So starting off QQQ this week, what's going to be looking at? This is CHOP, right? Consolidation straight up. We haven't left it in a while. Go to larger time frames here. Let's start off the weekly. We always like to be the biggest. We had a pretty much huge reversal. We have a gap structure development here upside. Pretty strong upside fulfillment, obviously. But there really just hasn't been any actual sentiment here to the upside. That's been confirmed. We're reaching all-time highs, but we've really just been chopping around for the last about 2-3 weeks now. There really hasn't been any market, like intraday plays that we could really see off-market setups. So it's kind of been unfortunate because, usually QQQ gives us some really beautiful intraday moves, but unfortunately at the moment, that is just not the case. So no valid risk moves here, okay? Going into some levels, though, just to be aware of here, okay, it's going to be 525 whole number. Got the support at 513.04. We also have 520 whole number, recent resistance here at 519. 521.70, another recent resistance support, recent resistance level, and then 522.96, 525, and 530 at the highs here. We also have the recent local high here at the 530.77 level. Okay, ES, same thing. Let's be aware of the fact that we are still in chop synonymously with the market here on QQQ and NASDAQ. So some key top levels, because I'm going to tell you right now, the narrative is upside bias this week is very clear, but it also might just be a grinding upside chop structure. Okay, so chop, accumulation, consolidation, all the same. So we're looking at chop development here. You can see our crossovers here. 21.9 are really going to showcase to you kind of what's the short-term narrative very clearly, along with the 200, giving you some bias confirmation along with that, aligning with the other EMAs and what we're kind of seeing going on here. So 6,008 going to be the recent high on the ES, local high, the market high there. I also have 59.93.50 at the next local area of resistance. We also do have at this high going into the other ones as well. Pretty heavy rejection pivot point there, 59.77. And then also pretty decent resistance over at the 59.40.75 level as well. Okay, so that's going to be overall what we got going on ES. Going into this market this week, there isn't really going to be too much significant. Apple's still chopping, looking at the 215 level now for months, nothing there. Downside be about 193 on that likely. Still consolidation, as is with every general equity in like right now, other than Tesla, and we will get into that because it's going to be our main stock today. AMD, again, I don't really like anything here. We're still in consolidation as well here. 200 EMA starting to see upside bias, but just not really confirmative there yet. So coin, I do like this here. I do like this at the 244.28 level. There isn't too much bad about this. It's got some real weakness along with BTC, the market, and MSTR showing some weakness the other day. We did end up rallying pretty heavy, but we had a nice weakness structure there also. So it's going to be up to big volume to see what we get on the really crypto-based exchanges, crypto-based markets, and equities. Okay, so 248.1 on the stock right here, 244.26 at the local low, into the 244 level for me as the actual level to take here. Okay, so Google, same story as everything else, really just consolidation, nothing clean. Meta, however, I do like this. It's just a little far. I like this at 660 still. That's really my main upside level. Downside, personally, I don't have anything. I can't really see much. We could see some real weakness in an actual divergent move come down, but I really only like to take those with Tesla because it has really the best and highest probable follow through, even in these kind of intraday chop ranges. Okay, so again, we're still in a consolidated range. You can see here with consistent crossover. We're just chopping between really the 660 range and the 625 range. So I need to have some more confirmation with big volume to really get an alignment to where that narrative is and get some cleaner levels, honestly, just straight up. Microsoft MSFT here. There's nothing really great here, just consolidating, chopping. We can keep going. Bias is going to be upside, relatively speaking, for most stocks here, but the strength here rather has been kind of weakening out. It's just kind of starting to look lower highs and still higher lows, but it's still starting to bottom out and go into more of a leveled out consolidated range here. We had a beautiful couple setups here after news or rather earnings here, and it had some pretty good setups here for sure. But aside from that, I just don't see a clean development here yet. Maybe in another couple weeks or another week or so. Okay. MSTR, really MSTR is coming into a pretty decent clean range here. Nothing fantastic, but we did have a pretty decent order flow down. If we go down to the 1 day, I believe we do have a gap here still. We haven't fully fulfilled yet. Yeah, we have a pretty decent gap here. So something to be aware of, absolutely, is going to be upside fulfillment. I think big money and volume is definitely present here and wants to see this go up. Okay, up is the narrative here on this stock. So we're going to want to go ahead and wait and be patient here, but I do like to see, I would like to see around the 390 level this week, and if anything, I will look to be taking this around the 380 range, and if anything, even tomorrow, depending on the type of strength or weakness that this does possess, I would like to see 375 prior to that, and potentially even as a swing hold also. Okay. Nvidia don't have anything on Nvidia this week. Nothing great. Honestly, just bottoming out on a random bear flag here. The stock overall is a pretty much trash stock at all anymore at this point since post split. Ever since we got that split, to me, this has just never been the right stock to trade anymore for day trading. It's just overall never has follow through and doesn't have profitable occurrences. Okay, so setups wise are always pretty poop. Going into Tesla. Going to say right here, 340, beautiful approach here. Sell off, consolidation range. Is it moderate? Yes, negotiable. But at the same time, the weakness is pretty obscene, given the blow off top that we got, especially here in the 1 hour. You can see here, if we go to the 1 day chart, you just see that the level of weakness this thing has on the daily chart is pretty substantial. And especially the 4 hour here. So we're going to pretty heavy blow off top, and if on anything, going sub 300, I'd love to see this be a pretty decent sell off here. I might even go in on shares for a long hold. So see what we get overall, but like I said, the setup this week is definitely going to be at my A plus going into Monday morning for sure. 340 weakness, down continuation to 339, and see what big volume really wants to do here. Okay, Netflix, I'm looking at this also at the 12.15. Really, it's going to be 12.15 with target of all-time high at 12.16.54 here. Okay, this is going to be obviously a quarter to half size position depending on what I feel the stock is trying to do that day and how clear the bias really is. How clear is that narrative really going to be? That's going to give me my confirmation of whether or not I go in this in a quarter size or a full size position on this. Okay, going to look to see with an alert here at 12:11, 81 cents to see what that bias is coming into Monday morning. I really think this setup can come along tomorrow morning with some serious headway. Okay, and then also PLTR, another fantastic setup that I'm looking at here at 133. Also to break tomorrow to the all-time high at 133.49, 50 cents, whatever you want to say. At the 134 as a final take profit on this. I'm looking to take this trade here with a full-size position, even though it's not a common company. the level of follow through I've seen this stock have from back testing, as well as the strength as it possesses right now, it's indicating a really high quality setup. And I'm definitely I'm a very large fan of this, and to take this as full size seems the logical assessive decision here. I will be looking to take off half, if not 3/4 of my position at the 133 break into the 133.50 high, of that being a high probable level of rejection, so higher risk. And then my final take profit would be the 134 level here on this given equity. Okay. Overall, nothing else really. We do have ABGO coming up here, but I'm not the biggest fan due to the lack of volume on the contracts and the widespread Roblox. There have been some decent swing trade positions on this, like pretty damn good, but for me personally, it's not what I do. MU, low contract volume, no setup. AI also had a really nice approach here. Beautiful setup last week. It's just one of those one-off stocks, though. And then DLTR is also one of the stocks where, we have those earnings this week, so I'm not even looking to take that. Robinhood, kind of in the same boat, but Hood might be coming around this week for a nice upside bias for the long term here as well. On the daily, coming up to the recent high, it's pretty beautiful. So we will see what we end up getting there, but I might be considering to take this into a swing position, long hold for the week. And then NU also don't have much here. These are just my side companies, one-offs now and then. So overall, guys, that's going to be the overall watch list this week. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, as always. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate the support. That's why I keep doing these. Offer mentorship if you guys are interested, and one-on-ones to learn how to become profitable as a day trader in option scalping specifically. And let's do what we always do, guys, this week. Let's stay disciplined. Let's stay focused. Make sure you manage risk. Make sure you stick to your system. Don't break your rules. Lock in, manage size, manage risk, as we always say. And let's kill it this week, guys. Peace. See you next week.